The salvage ship drifted through the darkness of space like a piece of forgotten metal. Inside the cramped cockpit, Minho checked his scanner one more time. The signal was still there, blinking red on his screen. An old research station orbiting a dying star. His crew had already voted to ignore it and move on to safer jobs. But Minho had other plans. He suited up in silence while the others slept. His stealth suit was old but reliable, covered in sensors that bent light around him. It made him nearly invisible if he stayed still. He had bought it with money from his first big salvage score 3 years ago. Tonight it would pay for itself. The station grew larger in his viewport as his small pod approached. It was massive, built in a style he did not recognize, smooth white walls that seemed to glow faintly in the starlight. No human corporation made stations like this. The airlock accepted his override codes easily. Too easily. Minho's instincts screamed at him to turn back, but the potential profit pushed him forward. Inside, the station hummed with power. Emergency lights cast blue shadows down empty corridors. Minho moved carefully, his boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. Everything was clean. Too clean for an abandoned facility. Dust did not gather here. The air smelled sterile and cold. He found the first laboratory after 20 minutes of searching. Glass containers lined the walls, filled with liquids that glowed different colors. Some held things that might have been organs. Others contained substances he could not identify. Minho pulled out his scanner and started cataloging everything. The black market would pay well for alien biotech. A sound made him freeze. Footsteps, light and quick, coming closer. Minho activated his suit's camouflage and pressed himself against the wall behind a large container. His heart hammered in his chest. The footsteps stopped just outside the door. She entered the room like a ghost. Minho had never seen anything like her. She was tall and thin, with skin so pale it almost seemed to shine. Her hair fell past her shoulders, silver white like starlight. She wore a simple black suit that looked like it was made from liquid shadow, but it was her eyes that made Minho's breath catch. They were completely black, no white at all, like looking into deep space. The woman moved between the containers with graceful steps. She picked up one of the glowing vials and held it up to the light, studying it. Her fingers were long and delicate. She hummed something soft and sad. Minho stayed perfectly still. His suit kept him hidden. He just needed to wait until she left. Then she stopped humming. Her head tilted slightly to one side. Minho watched as her nostrils flared. She was smelling the air. His stomach dropped. The suit hid him from sight and sensors, but it could not hide his scent. Sweat rolled down his back. The woman turned slowly, her black eyes scanning the room. A small smile appeared on her lips. When she spoke, her voice was soft but clear. "Human," she said in perfect English. "I can taste your fear in the air." "Show yourself." Minho did not move. Maybe she was bluffing. Maybe she could not really tell where he was. The woman sighed and set down her vial. "I know you are behind the number 7 container. Your heart is beating so fast. I can hear it from here." His suit was useless. Minho remained frozen, mind racing through options. He could run, but where? He could fight, but she did not look human. She might be stronger than she appeared. The woman took a step closer. "I will not hurt you," she said. "I am simply surprised. I thought your kind was extinct in this sector. Please, I have been alone for a very long time. It would be nice to speak with someone." Something in her voice made Minho believe her. Or maybe he was just out of options. He deactivated his camouflage. The woman's eyes widened slightly, but her smile remained. "There you are," she said. "What is your name?" "Minho," he answered, keeping his hand near his plasma cutter. Not much of a weapon, but better than nothing. "What are you?" "My name is Nari," the woman said. She moved to a nearby console and pressed some buttons. A hologram appeared showing a star system Minho did not recognize. "I am Velari. We are the ones who built this station. I am the last researcher here. What happened to the others?" Minho asked, relaxing slightly. She had not attacked yet. Maybe he could talk his way out of this. Nari's smile faded. "They went home. Or they died. It has been 17 years since I had contact with my people. I chose to stay and continue my work." She looked at Minho with those strange black eyes. "But you have not answered my question. How are you here? The humans were supposed to have destroyed themselves decades ago. Nuclear war. Complete collapse of your civilization." Minho almost laughed. "We're tougher than we look. Yeah, there was a war, bad one. But we survived, rebuilt, spread out to new colonies. We don't give up easy." Fascinating, Nari whispered. She moved closer and Minho saw her nostrils flare again. Your biology is remarkable. So much energy. So much life. She reached out as if to touch him, then stopped herself. Forgive me. I forget my manners. What kind of research do you do here? Minho asked, trying to keep the conversation going. The longer they talked, the more chances he had to find an escape route. Nari gestured to the containers around them. Genetic adaptation. Biological compatibility studies. My people have a condition. We require the life essence of other beings to survive. Most species are not compatible. Their essence is toxic to us or provides no nourishment. We have been searching for compatible species for generations. Most are extinct now. We are dying out. Minho felt a chill run through him. Life essence? You mean blood? More than blood, Nari said. The bioelectric energy that flows through living cells. The spark of life itself. Yes, blood carries it, but it is not the blood we need. It is what the blood contains. She looked at him with an expression he could not read. You would call us vampires, I think. Your old stories were not entirely wrong. His hand moved to his plasma cutter. Nari noticed but did not seem concerned. I told you I will not hurt you, Minho. I have synthetic supplements. I do not need to feed. She paused. But I am curious. May I check something? It will not harm you. Just a simple scan. Every instinct told Minho to refuse, but he was trapped in a station with a creature that could smell his fear and hear his heartbeat. He nodded slowly. Nari approached and placed her hand on his chest right over his heart. Her palm was cold through his suit. Her eyes closed for a long moment. Nothing happened. Then Nari's eyes snapped open. She pulled her hand back as if burned. Impossible, she breathed. The word came out shaky. You are compatible. Perfectly compatible. I have tested thousands of species over the years. Nothing has ever matched like this. Minho took a step back. What does that mean? Nari looked at him with an expression of wonder and hunger mixed together. It means your species is the answer I have been searching for. The key to saving my people. She moved to block the door. It means, Minho, that you cannot leave. Minho did not wait to hear more. He spun and ran. Behind him, Nari called out, but he ignored her. His boots pounded against the metal floor as he sprinted down the corridor. There had to be another way out. There was always another way out. He ducked into a side passage and found a maintenance hatch. His fingers worked quickly, prying it open. The ventilation shaft beyond was narrow but passable. Minho squeezed inside and started crawling. The metal was cold under his hands. He could hear his own breathing loud in the confined space. After several minutes, he stopped to check his scanner. The device showed him a basic map of the station. The nearest airlock was 2 levels down. If he could reach it, his pod was still docked there. He could escape. Warn the others. Figure out what to do about the vampire alien. A sound echoed through the shaft ahead of him. Footsteps, light and quick. Minho's blood went cold. How had she gotten ahead of him? He reversed direction, crawling back the way he came. More footsteps behind him now. She was hurting him. He found another hatch and dropped down into a storage room. Crates were stacked against the walls, labeled in a language he could not read. Minho ran to the far door and hit the control panel. It opened onto another corridor. He was about to step through when Nari appeared at the other end. She was not running, just walking slowly toward him with that same small smile. Minho turned and found another route, but she was always there. Always just far enough away that he thought he could escape, but always cutting off his path. After an hour of this cat-and-mouse game, Minho found himself in a large room with windows showing the stars outside. He was exhausted and out of options. Nari entered the room behind him and sealed the door. You run well, she said, not even breathing hard. But this is my station. I know every corridor, every shaft, every room. Minho drew his plasma cutter and held it up. The small tool hummed to life, its cutting beam glowing orange. Stay back. Nari looked at the tool with something like sadness. That will not stop me. But I told you I do not wish to hurt you. Why would I damage something so valuable? I'm not a thing, Minho said. His hand shook slightly. I'm a person. Of course you are, Nari said gently. She moved to one of the windows and looked out at the dying star. Do you know how long my people have searched for a compatible species? 300 years. We have tested every known alien race, found fragments of extinct civilizations and tested them too. Nothing worked. We were going to die out within a generation. She turned back to face him. In the starlight, her pale skin seemed to glow. Then you appear, hidden in my station, the first human I have ever met. And you are perfect. Do you understand what that means? Not just for me, but for billions of Velari across the galaxy. You want to farm us, Minho said. The pieces were falling into place. Use humans as food, Nari's expression darkened. No, that is not what I want. That is what others might want. But I am a scientist. I want to understand why you are compatible. I want to see if I can recreate it. Synthesize it. My people would not need to feed on living beings at all. Minho lowered his plasma cutter slightly. You're telling me you want to run tests on me? Non-invasive ones, Nari said quickly. Blood samples. Tissue scans. Monitoring your bioelectric field. I would not harm you. You would be comfortable here. Fed well. Given anything you need, she paused. And in return I would share Velari technology with you. Medical advances worth billions. Energy systems that could power entire colonies. Fair trade. And if I refuse? Minho asked. Nari's face became unreadable. Then I will ensure you never leave to tell anyone where I am. I have worked too long to have this chance ruined. My people are dying, Minho. I will do what I must to save them. The threat hung in the air between them. Minho thought fast. If he agreed, he would be a prisoner, but alive. He could learn the station layout. Find weaknesses. Escape later when she trusted him. If he refused, she might kill him now. The choice was obvious. Okay, he said. I'll help you. But I want to send a message to my crew first. Tell them I'm fine and continuing the salvage operation alone. Nari considered this. You may send a message saying you are safe. Nothing more. I will monitor it. She led him to a communications room and watched as he sent a brief message to his crew. Everything is fine. Found good salvage. Need more time. We'll contact soon. His friend Doyen would know something was wrong from the message, but there was nothing Minho could do about that now. Nari showed him to a small room with a bed, desk, and private bathroom. Your quarters, she said. The door will lock from the outside at night, but during the day you may explore the station. Except for the lower levels. Those are restricted. What's on the lower levels? Minho asked. Nothing that concerns you, Nari said. I will begin basic tests tomorrow. Get some rest. You have had an exciting day. She started to leave, then paused at the door. For what it is worth, I am glad you are here. It has been very lonely, then she was gone. The door slid shut and Minho heard it lock. He sat on the bed and put his head in his hands. What had he gotten himself into? His crew would come looking for him eventually, but that could be weeks. Until then, he was trapped on an alien station with a vampire who wanted to study his blood. He looked around the room. It was clean and comfortable. The bed was soft. There was even a small window showing the stars. As prisons went, it could be worse. Minho lay back and stared at the ceiling. He needed to be smart about this. Learn everything he could. Find her weaknesses. Wait for his chance. But a small part of him wondered about Nari's loneliness. 17 years alone on this station. No contact with her own people. Just research and experiments in silence. He pushed the thought away. She was his captor. She had threatened to kill him. Any sympathy would be a mistake. Sleep did not come easily that night. When it finally did, Minho dreamed of black eyes and silver hair and a voice that tasted his fear in the air. The next morning, the door unlocked automatically. Minho found fresh clothes waiting outside along with a tray of food. The food was human style. Bread, fruit, protein bars. She must have synthesized it somehow. He ate quickly and dressed. Nari was waiting in the laboratory. She had set up a medical chair with various scanners around it. Good morning, she said. Her tone was professional now. Please sit. This will not hurt. Minho sat in the chair. Nari moved around him, attaching sensors to his temples and chest. Her fingers were gentle but cold. She worked in silence for several minutes, studying the readouts on her screens. Remarkable, she murmured. Your bioelectric signature is incredibly strong. Much more than I expected. And the pattern is complex. Beautiful, even. She looked at him with those black eyes. Does it hurt? Carrying so much energy? I don't feel anything unusual, Minho said. It's just normal for humans, Nari smiled. What is normal for you is extraordinary for us. Your species burns so bright, like little stars. She continued her scans, asking questions about human biology, human culture, human history. Minho answered carefully, giving her information but nothing that might endanger other humans. Days passed this way. Tests in the morning. Lunch together in the station's dining area. Afternoon exploration of the station while Nari analyzed her data. Dinner and conversation about their two species. Minho learned about the Velari, their history, their desperate struggle for survival. Nari learned about humanity's wars and rebuilding. Slowly, carefully, Minho began to map the station in his mind. He noted guard systems, power sources, and weak points. He kept his face neutral when Nari explained how the airlocks worked. He memorized the control codes she used. He was patient, but something unexpected was happening too. He was beginning to enjoy their conversations. Nari was brilliant and funny when she relaxed. She played old human music from centuries ago and asked him to explain the lyrics. She showed him Velari art that made his breath catch with its beauty. She was not just his captor anymore. She was becoming something else, something dangerous in a different way. Minho pushed those feelings down deep. He could not afford to be distracted. His life and freedom depended on escape. Nothing else mattered. Nothing at all. The third day arrived too quickly. Minho spent it helping Nari in the laboratory, trying to act normal. She was excited about a breakthrough in the synthetic substitute research. They were close to creating something that could mimic human bioelectric energy without needing a living host. She did not notice his distraction. That evening, alarms suddenly blared through the station. Red lights flashed in every corridor. Nari's face went pale. "Someone is here," she said, checking her console. "A ship just docked. Armed personnel boarding." Minho's stomach dropped. Doyen was early. "It's my crew," he admitted. "They're coming for me." Nari looked at him with those black eyes. For a moment, Minho thought he saw hurt there. Then her expression went neutral. "Of course. You must have found a way to contact them." She stood and moved to the weapons locker. "How many?" "Don't," Minho said, stepping between her and the locker. "Please, they're not here to hurt you. They just want me back." "They have guns," Nari said, pointing at her screens. The security cameras showed Doyen and 3 others moving through the corridors, weapons ready. "They will kill me if they think I am a threat." The sound of plasma fire echoed through the station. The crew was shooting at security systems. Minho grabbed Nari's arm. "Hide, stay in the laboratory. I'll go meet them. I'll explain everything." Nari pulled her arm free. "This is my station. I will not hide." But she did not go for weapons. She simply waited, standing straight and calm as the footsteps approached. The laboratory door exploded inward. Doyen rushed in first, his rifle raised. Behind him came 3 more crew members, all armed. They spread out, covering every angle. Then Doyen saw Minho standing next to Nari. "Minho!" Doyen shouted. "Get away from that thing." "She's not a thing," Minho said, not moving. "Her name is Nari. She's a scientist." Doyen kept his weapon trained on Nari. "She's a hostile alien who's been holding you prisoner. We tracked your emergency beacon. Took us 3 weeks to find this place." He gestured with his rifle. "Now step away from her so we can extract you." Minho looked at his friend. They had known each other for 5 years. Worked dozens of salvage jobs together. Doyen was like a brother to him. But right now, Doyen was pointing a gun at someone Minho cared about. When had that happened? "Nobody's extracting me," Minho said. "I'm staying by my own choice." "She's brainwashed you," one of the other crew members said. "A woman named Hyejin." "Look at your arm, Minho. We can see the feeding marks from here." Minho looked down. He had forgotten about those. Faint silver traces where Nari had fed from him twice more over the past weeks. They did not hurt. He barely noticed them anymore. But to his crew they must look like proof of captivity. "She hasn't brainwashed me," Minho said. "I offered to help her. She's doing important research. Work that could save billions of lives." Doyen's face twisted with anger and confusion. "You've been here a month. 1 month with this vampire and you're taking her side?" "I'm not taking sides," Minho said, frustrated. "There are no sides. She needed help, I gave it. That's all." "That's not all," Doyen said. He lowered his weapon slightly but kept it ready. "We did research on the Velari after you mentioned them in your message codes. They're predators, Minho. They used to farm humans like cattle until the galactic community stopped them. They're forbidden from having contact with our species." Minho looked at Nari. She had not moved or spoken. Her face was blank, but he could see tension in her shoulders. "Is that true?" he asked. "It is history," Nari said quietly. "Something my people did long ago, before I was born." We were desperate and made terrible choices. The council forbade all human contact after that. I broke that law by letting you live. You broke it by studying him like a lab animal, Hyejin said. How many tests did you run? How much blood did you take? Only what was freely given, Nari said, finally showing emotion. Her voice was sharp. I never forced him. I never hurt him. I offered him a choice. Some choice, Doyen said. Help me or die. That's not a choice. Minho stepped forward, putting himself more directly between Nari and the weapons. Stand down. All of you. I know you came here to rescue me, and I appreciate that. But I don't need rescuing. Doyen stared at him like he was a stranger. You've changed. This isn't you, Minho. You don't trust anyone. You don't help people. You look out for yourself. That's who you are. The words stung because they were true, or had been true. Minho thought about the person he was a month ago. Alone, bitter, living for the next score and nothing else. Maybe I got tired of being that person, he said. A tense silence filled the laboratory. The crew kept their weapons ready but did not fire. Doyen looked between Minho and Nari, clearly trying to understand what he was seeing. Finally, he sighed and lowered his rifle completely. Fine, Doyen said. You want to stay? Stay. But we're not leaving without talking to you alone. Away from her. He jerked his head toward the door. 5 minutes. Just us. Minho looked at Nari. She nodded slightly. Go, I will wait here. No tricks, Hyejin warned, keeping her weapon trained on Nari. We've got charges set throughout the station. If anything happens to Minho, this whole place blows. Minho followed Doyen into the corridor. They walked until they were out of earshot, then Doyen turned on him. What's really going on? Are you under some kind of mind control? No, Minho said. I know it looks bad, but she really hasn't hurt me. She could have killed me that first night. Instead, she offered me a deal. Research for technology. I took it. And the feeding? Doyen asked, his voice hard. That was my choice too, Minho said. She was starving herself rather than take from me without permission. I couldn't let her die. Doyen's expression softened slightly. You're falling for her. A vampire alien. Minho, listen to yourself. I'm not falling for anyone, Minho said. But the words sounded weak even to him. I just finally found something worth doing. Something more than salvage and survival. Don't you understand? Her research could change everything, for humans and Velari. Or it could get you killed, Doyen said. These people have a history of using humans. What makes you think she's different? Before Minho could answer, new alarms blared through the station. Different ones, louder and more urgent. Doyen's radio crackled. Boss, we've got a problem. Big ship just appeared in orbit. It's Velari, and it's targeting us. Minho and Doyen ran back to the laboratory. Nari was already at the console, her face pale with fear. It is a destroyer, she said. Council enforcement. They found me. What does that mean? Minho asked. Nari's hands moved frantically across the console. It means my people know about you. About our contact. About my research. She looked at him with those black eyes, and now they were filled with fear. It means they are here to kill us both. The console screen showed a message in Velari text. Nari translated it out loud. Station occupants, you are charged with forbidden contact with a protected species. Surrender for judgment or be destroyed. You have 1 hour, Doyen cursed. Our ship can't outrun a destroyer. We're sitting ducks. Nari turned to Minho. There is an emergency shuttle in the lower levels. It has stealth capabilities. You and your crew can escape. I will stay and face the council. Like hell, Minho said. We're not leaving you here to die. She's not our problem, Hyejin said from the doorway. Let's take the shuttle and go. Minho rounded on her. She's my problem. She's a person who needs help. We don't abandon people. Since when? Hyejin shot back. Since now, Minho said firmly. He looked at Doyen. We came here as a rescue mission. Let's actually rescue someone. Doyen rubbed his face with both hands. You're going to get us all killed. But he was smiling slightly. Fine, what's the plan? Nari looked between them with disbelief. You would risk your lives for me? After everything? Apparently, Doyen said, though I'm starting to question my life choices. Minho moved to the console. Show me everything you have on that destroyer. Weapons, shields, weak points. We need to buy time to reach that shuttle. Nari's hands shook as she pulled up the schematics. There is no way to fight them. They will destroy the station in 45 minutes. Then we'd better work fast, Minho said. He looked at his crew. Anyone want to back out now? They all shook their heads. Even Hyejin, though she still looked skeptical. Minho felt something warm in his chest. Maybe he had been wrong about being alone. Maybe he just needed to find the right people to not be alone with. All right, he said. Let's figure out how to survive a Velari destroyer. How hard can it be? The answer, as they would soon discover, was very hard indeed. The third day arrived too quickly. Minho spent it helping Nari in the laboratory, trying to act normal. She was excited about a breakthrough in the synthetic substitute research. They were close to creating something that could mimic human bioelectric energy without needing a living host. She did not notice his distraction. That evening, alarms suddenly blared through the station. Red lights flashed in every corridor. Nari's face went pale. Someone is here, she said, checking her console. A ship just docked. Armed personnel boarding. Minho's stomach dropped. Doyen was early. It's my crew, he admitted. They're coming for me. Nari looked at him with those black eyes. For a moment, Minho thought he saw hurt there. Then her expression went neutral. Of course. You must have found a way to contact them. She stood and moved to the weapons locker. How many? Don't, Minho said, stepping between her and the locker. Please, they're not here to hurt you. They just want me back. They have guns, Nari said, pointing at her screens. The security cameras showed Doyen and 3 others moving through the corridors, weapons ready. They will kill me if they think I am a threat. The sound of plasma fire echoed through the station. The crew was shooting at security systems. Minho grabbed Nari's arm. Hide, stay in the laboratory. I'll go meet them. I'll explain everything. Nari pulled her arm free. This is my station. I will not hide. But she did not go for weapons. She simply waited, standing straight and calm as the footsteps approached. The laboratory door exploded inward. Doyen rushed in first, his rifle raised. Behind him came 3 more crew members, all armed. They spread out, covering every angle. Then Doyen saw Minho standing next to Nari. Minho, Doyen shouted. Get away from that thing. She's not a thing, Minho said, not moving. Her name is Nari. She's a scientist. Doyen kept his weapon trained on Nari. She's a hostile alien who's been holding you prisoner. We tracked your emergency beacon. Took us 3 weeks to find this place. He gestured with his rifle. Now step away from her so we can extract you. Minho looked at his friend. They had known each other for 5 years, worked dozens of salvage jobs together. Doyen was like a brother to him. But right now, Doyen was pointing a gun at someone Minho cared about. When had that happened? Nobody's extracting me, Minho said. I'm staying by my own choice. She's brainwashed you, one of the other crew members said. A woman named Hyejin. Look at your arm, Minho. We can see the feeding marks from here. Minho looked down. He had forgotten about those. Faint silver traces where Nari had fed from him twice more over the past weeks. They did not hurt. He barely noticed them anymore. But to his crew they must look like proof of captivity. She hasn't brainwashed me, Minho said. I offered to help her. She's doing important research. Work that could save billions of lives. Doyen's face twisted with anger and confusion. You've been here a month. 1 month with this vampire and you're taking her side? I'm not taking sides, Minho said, frustrated. There are no sides. She needed help, I gave it. That's all. That's not all, Doyen said. He lowered his weapon slightly but kept it ready. We did research on the Velari after you mentioned them in your message codes. They're predators, Minho. They used to farm humans like cattle until the galactic community stopped them. They're forbidden from having contact with our species. Minho looked at Nari. She had not moved or spoken. Her face was blank, but he could see tension in her shoulders. Is that true? He asked. It is history, Nari said quietly. Something my people did long ago. Before I was born, we were desperate and made terrible choices. The council forbade all human contact after that. I broke that law by letting you live. You broke it by studying him like a lab animal, Hyejin said. How many tests did you run? How much blood did you take? Only what was freely given, Nari said, finally showing emotion. Her voice was sharp. I never forced him. I never hurt him. I offered him a choice. Some choice, Doyen said. Help me or die. That's not a choice. Minho stepped forward, putting himself more directly between Nari and the weapons. Stand down. All of you. I know you came here to rescue me and I appreciate that. But I don't need rescuing. Doyen stared at him like he was a stranger. You've changed? This isn't you, Minho. You don't trust anyone. You don't help people. You look out for yourself. That's who you are. The words stung because they were true, or had been true. Minho thought about the person he was a month ago, alone, bitter, living for the next score and nothing else. Maybe I got tired of being that person, he said. A tense silence filled the laboratory. The crew kept their weapons ready but did not fire. Doyen looked between Minho and Nari, clearly trying to understand what he was seeing. Finally, he sighed and lowered his rifle completely. Fine, Doyen said. You want to stay? Stay. But we're not leaving without talking to you alone. Away from her. He jerked his head toward the door. 5 minutes. Just us. Minho looked at Nari. She nodded slightly. Go. I will wait here. No tricks, Yijin warned, keeping her weapon trained on Nari. We've got charges set throughout the station. If anything happens to Minho, this whole place blows. Minho followed Doyen into the corridor. They walked until they were out of earshot, then Doyen turned on him. What's really going on? Are you under some kind of mind control? No, Minho said. I know it looks bad, but she really hasn't hurt me. She could have killed me that first night. Instead, she offered me a deal. Research for technology. I took it. And the feeding? Doyen asked, his voice hard. That was my choice too, Minho said. She was starving herself rather than take from me without permission. I couldn't let her die. Doyen's expression softened slightly. You're falling for her. A vampire alien. Minho, listen to yourself. I'm not falling for anyone, Minho said, but the words sounded weak even to him. I just finally found something worth doing. Something more than salvage and survival. Don't you understand? Her research could change everything. For humans and Velari. Or it could get you killed, Doyen said. These people have a history of using humans. What makes you think she's different? Before Minho could answer, new alarms blared through the station. Different ones. Louder and more urgent. Doyen's radio crackled. Boss, we've got a problem. Big ship just appeared in orbit. It's Velari. And it's targeting us. Minho and Doyen ran back to the laboratory. Nari was already at the console, her face pale with fear. It is a destroyer, she said. Council enforcement. They found me. What does that mean? Minho asked. Nari's hands moved frantically across the console. It means my people know about you. About our contact. About my research. She looked at him with those black eyes, and now they were filled with fear. It means they are here to kill us both. The console screen showed a message in Velari text. Nari translated it out loud. Station occupants, you are charged with forbidden contact with a protected species. Surrender for judgment or be destroyed. You have 1 hour, Doyen cursed. Our ship can't outrun a destroyer. We're sitting ducks. Nari turned to Minho. There is an emergency shuttle in the lower levels. It has stealth capabilities. You and your crew can escape. I will stay and face the council. Like hell, Minho said. We're not leaving you here to die. She's not our problem, Yijin said from the doorway. Let's take the shuttle and go. Minho rounded on her. She's my problem. She's a person who needs help. We don't abandon people. Since when? Yijin shot back. Since now, Minho said firmly. He looked at Doyen. We came here as a rescue mission. Let's actually rescue someone. Doyen rubbed his face with both hands. You're going to get us all killed. But he was smiling slightly. Fine, what's the plan? Nari looked between them with disbelief. You would risk your lives for me? After everything? Apparently, Doyen said. Though I'm starting to question my life choices. Minho moved to the console. Show me everything you have on that destroyer. Weapons, shields, weak points. We need to buy time to reach that shuttle. Nari's hands shook as she pulled up the schematics. There is no way to fight them. They will destroy the station in 45 minutes. Then we'd better work fast, Minho said. He looked at his crew. Anyone want to back out now? They all shook their heads. Even Hyejin, though she still looked skeptical. Minho felt something warm in his chest. Maybe he had been wrong about being alone. Maybe he just needed to find the right people to not be alone with. All right, he said. Let's figure out how to survive a Velari destroyer. How hard can it be? The answer, as they would soon discover, was very hard indeed. The Velari destroyer filled the main screen. It was beautiful and terrifying, shaped like a curved blade with surfaces that seemed to shift colors. Minho could see weapon ports opening along its sides. They had maybe 30 minutes left before the station became debris. Nari's fingers flew across the console. I am trying to establish communication with the ship's commander. Maybe I can explain. Her voice was shaking. Maybe they will listen. Or maybe they'll just shoot us faster, Yejin muttered. A face appeared on the screen. Another Velari woman, but different from Nari. Where Nari had warmth in her expression, this woman had only ice. Her silver hair was cut short and her black eyes held no mercy. She wore a uniform that looked like it was made from liquid metal. Nari, the woman said. Her voice was cold and formal. I am Commander Taeyon of the Council Enforcement Division. You have been charged with treason against the Velari people. Surrender yourself and the human specimens immediately. Specimens? Doyen said. Did she just call us specimens? Minho held up a hand for silence. Nari stepped closer to the screen. Commander Taeyon, I know we attended the academy together. Surely you remember me. I am not a traitor. I am trying to save our people. Taeyeon's expression did not change. Saving our people does not require breaking our most sacred laws. Human contact is forbidden. You know this. Everyone knows this. The law is based on old fear, Nari said. Things have changed. Humans have evolved. My research shows they could be willing partners, not victims. We could save billions of Velari without harming anyone. Willing partners? Taeyeon's lip curled. You have one human as a research subject and you think you understand their entire species? Your arrogance is astounding. Minho stepped into view of the screen. She's not arrogant. She's desperate. Your people are dying and she's trying to help. What's wrong with that? Taeyeon's eyes locked onto him. Minho felt like he was being examined by something that saw him as prey. A human who speaks. How fascinating. She leaned forward. Do you know what your kind was to us centuries ago? Livestock. We bred you in pens, harvested you like crops. Your ancestors died by the millions to feed ours. That wasn't me, Minho said, keeping his voice steady. And it wasn't Nari either. You can't judge people for what their ancestors did. We can and we must, Taeyeon said. The Council agreed to leave humanity alone to prevent a galactic war. That agreement is the only thing keeping your species safe. If we break it, other powers will demand we be destroyed. Every Velari everywhere. Is one human's life worth risking that? Nari spoke up. My research could make the agreement obsolete. If we can create synthetic feeding sources, we would not need living donors at all. Both species could benefit. Taeyeon shook her head. You are naive, Nari. The Council has already considered such research. It was rejected. Changing our nature would make us less Velari. We would lose what makes us strong. Being strong doesn't matter if we're extinct, Nari said. Better extinction with honor than survival through weakness, Taeyeon replied. This is the Council's will. You have 20 minutes to bring yourself and the humans to the docking bay. If you do not comply, I will destroy the station. Choose now. The screen went dark. Silence filled the laboratory for a moment. Then Hyejin started laughing. It was a bitter, tired sound. Honor through extinction. These people are insane. They're scared, Minho said. That's what this is. They're scared of change. Nari turned away from the screen. Her shoulders slumped. I should have known this would happen. I was foolish to think I could work alone, to think I could change centuries of policy. You weren't foolish, Minho said. You were brave. There's a difference. He looked at Doyen. We need a plan. What have we got? Doyen checked his tablet. That emergency shuttle Nari mentioned. If we can reach it, the stealth system might let us slip away while they're focused on the station. They will track any ship that leaves, Nari said. The destroyer's sensors are too advanced. What if they were distracted? Minho asked. An idea was forming. Crazy, but possible. The station has weapons, right? Defense systems? Nothing that could damage a destroyer, Nari said. This is a research station, not a military base. But could the weapons hold their attention? Minho pressed. Make them focus on defending themselves instead of watching for escaping shuttles? Nari thought about it. Perhaps. If we activated all systems at once, targeted their weapon ports, we could not destroy them, but we could annoy them. Annoy them enough and they might make mistakes, Doyen said, catching on. Get sloppy. Give us an opening. One of the other crew members, a young man named Bora, spoke up. Someone would need to stay behind to operate the weapons. Remote systems won't work well enough. Everyone looked at each other. The person who stayed would die when the station was destroyed. Minho saw Nari open her mouth to volunteer and spoke first. I'll do it. This was my fault for coming here. I'll finish it. No, Nari said firmly. This is my station. My research. My responsibility. You will take the shuttle with the others. Not happening, Minho said. I'm not leaving you to die. This is not a debate, Nari said, her voice taking on the commanding tone she had used when they first met. As the station's commander, I am ordering you to evacuate. I don't take orders from you, Minho said. Not anymore. They glared at each other. Doyen cleared his throat. Hate to interrupt this touching moment, but we have 16 minutes left. How about nobody stays behind? Minho and Nari both turned to him. What do you mean? Minho asked. Doyen grinned. We're salvage crew. We work with automation all the time. We set the weapons on automatic targeting, program a firing sequence, and set it on a timer. By the time the shooting starts, we're already on the shuttle. The automation on this station is 17 years old, Nari said. It might not work properly. It'll work well enough to annoy them, Doyen said. Which is all we need. Minho felt relief wash through him. That could work. Nari, can you set it up? Nari hesitated, then nodded. Yes, but we only have one chance. If the shuttle is detected before we get far enough away, the destroyer will catch us easily. Then we'd better not get detected, Hyejin said. Let's move. They split up. Nari and Minho headed to the weapons control room while the crew prepared the shuttle. Nari worked quickly, her fingers dancing across controls. Minho watched her set up firing patterns, timing sequences, and targeting priorities. This might actually work, she said, sounding surprised. The weapons are old but functional. If we focus on their sensor arrays, we can blind them temporarily. How long will that give us? Minho asked. 5 minutes, maybe less. Nari finished the sequence and stepped back. It is done. We should go. They ran through the corridors toward the lower levels. Minho's radio crackled. Boss, we're at the shuttle. It's powered up and ready. On our way, Minho replied. They reached the shuttle bay with 2 minutes to spare. The shuttle was small and sleek, built for speed rather than comfort. The crew was already strapped in. Minho and Nari took the last 2 seats. Toyun was in the pilot chair. Weapons firing in 60 seconds, Nari said, checking her tablet. Be ready. The seconds ticked down. Minho found himself holding Nari's hand without thinking about it. She squeezed back, her cold fingers tight around his. Weapons firing now, Nari said. On the shuttle's screen, they saw the station's defense guns light up. Energy beams and projectiles shot toward the destroyer. The Velari ship's shields flared as it absorbed the impacts. It was like throwing rocks at a mountain, but it got their attention. Go, Minho shouted. Doyen launched the shuttle. The small ship shot out of the station and into open space. The stealth systems activated, bending sensor waves around them. On the screen, they saw the destroyer turning its attention fully to the station. More weapons fire. The station's shields were failing. We're not going to make it, Hyejin said. They'll detect us any second. Have faith, Doyen said, pushing the engines harder. The destroyer fired. A massive energy beam cut through the research station like paper. The structure exploded in a brilliant flash. Debris spread in all directions. 17 years of research, 17 years of Nari's life, gone in an instant. Minho felt Nari's hand tremble in his. He looked at her and saw tears on her face. But she said nothing. Just watched her home burn. We're clear, Bora said from the navigation station. They're not following. We did it, but the celebration felt hollow. They had survived, but they had nowhere to go. The Velari wanted them dead. Human space was weeks away, and they were all fugitives now. Taeon's voice came through the shuttle's communication system. Nari, I know you escaped. I am letting you go. Not out of mercy, but because I want you to understand what you have done. You have proven that humans and Velari cannot coexist. Your research has ended. Your hopes are dead. Live with that knowledge. The communication cut off. The destroyer turned and disappeared into hyperspace, leaving them alone in the darkness. Nari finally spoke. She is right. I have failed. Everything I worked for is destroyed. No, Minho said. Your research is backed up, right? In your head? On portable drives? Nari looked at him. Yes, but what does it matter? The council will never accept it. Then we don't give it to the council, Minho said. A new plan was forming. We give it to both our peoples. Make it public. Let everyone decide. The journey to Valar Prime took 4 days in hyperspace. 4 days of cramped quarters, rationed supplies, and growing tension. Minho spent most of the time with Nari, reviewing her research and preparing their presentation. The others thought they were crazy. They were probably right. When they finally dropped out of hyperspace, Minho's first view of Valar Prime took his breath away. The planet glowed with a soft purple light. Cities covered the surface, connected by streams of light that might have been transport systems. But something was wrong. Large sections of the cities were dark, dead zones spreading like infection. My people built those cities 10,000 years ago, Nari said quietly. Now they are dying with us. The shuttle's scanners detected dozens of ships in orbit. Defense platforms. Military vessels. They were immediately surrounded. Nari opened a communication channel. This is Research Specialist Nari requesting permission to address the High Council. I have critical information regarding species survival. The response was immediate. Nari, you are wanted for treason. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Well, that went about as well as expected, Hiejin said. Minho leaned forward. Tell them I'm a human volunteer. Tell them I'm here to offer help. Nari looked at him. That will make things worse. Or it will get their attention, Minho said. Do it. Nari took a breath and spoke into the comm. I have a human volunteer with me. He wishes to address the council about establishing a donor program. He came here freely. Silence. Then a different voice came through. An older voice, female and tired. This is Council Elder Hana. Bring them to the council chamber. If this is a trick, you will all be executed. If it is sincere, you may still be executed. But we will listen first. The shuttle was escorted down to the surface by 6 fighter craft. They landed in what looked like a palace made of crystal and dark metal. Velari guards surrounded them as they disembarked. The guards were tall and armored, carrying weapons that hummed with contained energy. Minho and his crew stayed close together. Nari walked with her head high, showing no fear. The guards led them through halls that were both beautiful and sad. Art covered the walls. Statues lined the corridors. But everything looked worn, faded, like a great civilization slowly forgetting how to maintain itself. The council chamber was enormous. The ceiling stretched up into darkness. Around the circular room sat 12 Velari, all ancient-looking. Their skin had a translucent quality, as if they were becoming ghosts. At the center sat Hana, the eldest. She looked thousands of years old. Approach, Hana said. Her voice echoed strangely. Minho and Nari walked to the center of the chamber. The crew waited at the entrance with guards watching them. Minho felt dozens of black eyes studying him, judging him, seeing him as food or enemy or both. Nari, Hana said, you have broken our most sacred law. You have contacted a human, conducted research we specifically forbade, given them knowledge of our location. Explain why you should not be executed immediately. Nari bowed deeply. Honored Elder, I broke the law because following it meant extinction. I have found proof that humans are compatible donors. More than that, I have developed a synthetic substitute that could free us from feeding entirely. But the council rejected this research without even examining it. A male council member spoke up. We rejected it because changing our nature is an abomination. We are Velari, we feed. That is what we are. We are a dying species clinging to pride, Nari shot back. Our people are starving across 100 worlds. How many more must die before pride becomes foolishness? Watch your tone, another council member warned. Minho stepped forward. All eyes turned to him. He felt like an insect under a magnifying glass. May I speak? The human wishes to address us, Hana said. This should be interesting. Speak, human. Why have you come here? Minho took a breath. My name is Minho. I'm a salvage worker from the outer colonies. I came here because Nari's research could save both our species. Humanity has grown strong. We're on hundreds of worlds now. We could establish a voluntary donor system. People who want to help in exchange for your technology and protection. You would offer your people as food? A council member asked, her voice dripping with contempt. I'm offering partnership, Minho said, not slavery. Humans who choose to participate would do so freely, with compensation, with respect. It's not the same as what happened centuries ago. And what would stop us from simply taking what we need? The male council member asked. Your species is weak compared to ours. We have ships that could conquer every human world in months. You could try, Minho said. His heart was pounding, but his voice stayed steady. But you'd lose. Not because we're stronger. Because we're stubborn. We survived nuclear war. Rebuilt from nothing. We don't quit. You'd be fighting on every world, every city, every street, and even if you won, you'd have destroyed the very thing you need. You can't harvest willing donors if they're all dead. A ripple of conversation went through the council. Hana raised her hand for silence. You speak boldly for someone surrounded by those who could kill you with a thought. Boldness is all I've got, Minho said. That and the truth. Your people are dying. My people could help, but only if you stop seeing us as food and start seeing us as allies. Impossible, the male council member said. Humans are inferior. Always have been. Then why are we still alive? Minho challenged. Your people tried to wipe us out centuries ago. We're still here. We're thriving. Maybe that means we're not as inferior as you think. Hana studied him with eyes that had seen millennia. You have courage, human. But courage alone does not make policy. She turned to Nari. Show us this research. If it is worthless, you die. If it has merit, you may simply be imprisoned for life. Fair enough, Nari said. She pulled out a data crystal and inserted it into the council's systems. Holographic displays filled the chamber, showing genetic codes, energy signatures, and compatibility charts. Nari explained her work. How human bioelectric energy perfectly matched Velari needs. How it could be synthesized artificially. How a controlled donor program could work. The council watched in silence. Some looked interested, others hostile. Hana's expression was unreadable. When Nari finished, the elder spoke. This research is impressive. If accurate, it could indeed save our species. But it requires trust, cooperation, things we have not practiced with humans for generations. Then start now, Minho said. Let me be the first volunteer. Test Nari's theories on me, prove they work. Then we can talk about bigger programs. Before Hana could respond, alarms blared. The same alarms from the station. A guard rushed in. Elder Hana, Commander Taeyeon has returned. She requests immediate entry to the council chamber. Let her in, Hana said. Taeyeon strode into the chamber, still in her combat armor. She saw Nari and Minho and her eyes widened with fury. You let them land? You let them into the council chamber? We are hearing their proposal, Hana said calmly. There is no proposal. Taeyeon shouted. Only treason and lies. I destroyed Nari's research station. Her work is gone. This is finished. Her work is backed up, Minho said. And we brought it here. Want to see? Taeyeon's hand moved to her weapon. Guards tensed. The situation was about to explode. Then Minho did something crazy. He walked toward Taeyeon with his arms spread wide, exposing himself completely. If you want to shoot someone, shoot me, he said. I'm the one who convinced Nari to come here. I'm the one pushing for this alliance. I'm the threat, so do it. Kill me right here in front of the council. Show everyone what the Velari have become. Taeyeon drew her weapon and pointed it at Minho's chest. Her finger tightened on the trigger. Minho did not move, barely breathed. This was the gamble. Would she actually do it? Stop, Hana's voice rang out. Taeyeon, lower your weapon. Elder, this human is dangerous, Taeyeon said, but she did not lower the weapon. He is unarmed and offering himself for study, Hana said. If you shoot him, you prove we are no better than animals. Is that what you want? Taeyeon's hand shook. Minho could see the conflict in her eyes. Duty versus doubt. Finally, she lowered the weapon. I cannot do this, she said quietly. I cannot watch my people throw away honor for survival. Then look away, Nari said, her voice surprisingly gentle. Or better yet, look closely. See what we are proposing. Not slavery. Not conquest, partnership. Is that really so terrible? Taeyeon turned to Nari. For a moment, they just stared at each other. Two Velari with completely different views of the future. Then Taeyeon spoke. You always were too optimistic. Too trusting. I warned you at the academy this would happen. You were right, Nari admitted. It did happen. But I still have hope. Don't you want hope, Taeyeon? Something broke in Taeyeon's expression. I want my people to survive, she said. But not like this. Not by begging food from humans. We're not begging, Minho said. We're negotiating. There's a difference. Taeyeon looked at him for a long moment. Then she did something unexpected. She removed a small device from her armor and tossed it to Nari. The research data I recovered from your station before destroying it. I told the council it was all destroyed. I lied. Nari caught the device, stunned. Why would you do this? Because I am tired, Taeyeon said. Tired of watching my people die. Tired of fighting. Tired of pretending we can survive on pride alone. She looked at the council. I formally request permission. The holding cells were surprisingly comfortable. Separate rooms with actual beds, private bathrooms, and windows showing the city beyond. Prison, but a nice one. Minho spent the first day reviewing data with Nari. The second day, Taeyeon came to speak with them. The council's scientists have examined your research, Taeyeon said. She looked tired. They confirm your findings are accurate. Human bioelectric energy is indeed compatible. The synthetic substitute shows promise but requires more testing. So what happens now? Minho asked. Now the council debates whether compatibility matters more than tradition, Taeyeon said. Half want to proceed, half want to execute you and forget this ever happened. Elder Hana will cast the deciding vote tomorrow. Which way will she vote? Nari asked. Taeyeon shook her head. I do not know. Hana has led our people for 3,000 years. She remembers when we first encountered humans. Remembers the wars. The shame. She carries that weight. Then we need to talk to her, Minho said. Convince her this is different. You cannot simply demand an audience with the elder, Taeyeon said. But she was smiling slightly. However, she has requested to speak with you. Both of you. Tonight. They were escorted to Hana's private chambers that evening. The rooms were filled with artifacts from across Velari history. Weapons from ancient wars. Art from forgotten masters. Books written in languages that no longer existed. Hana sat by a window looking out at the dying city. Come in, she said without turning. Sit. They sat on cushions near her chair. Hana finally turned to look at them. Up close, her age was even more apparent. Her skin was thin as paper. Her eyes held infinite sadness. Do you know what it is like, she asked quietly, to watch your entire species slowly die? No, Elder, Nari said. It is torture, Hana continued. Every day I receive reports. This colony failed. That outpost abandoned. Thousands dying from feeding complications or starvation. And I can do nothing. The council debates, argues, clings to old ways. And we die. She looked at Minho. You remind me of the first humans I met, bold, curious, refusing to accept their place. We thought we could control you. Use you. We learned we were wrong. The hard way. I'm sorry for what happened, Minho said. But I can't change the past. I can only offer a different future. Can you? Hana asked. How many humans share your view? You are one person. What if you return to your people and they reject this idea? What if they demand war instead of peace? It was a fair question. Minho thought about it carefully before answering. I don't know. Humans are complicated. We argue about everything. But I do know we're practical. If you offer us technology and protection in exchange for voluntary donors, a lot of people will take that deal. We're survivors. We do what works. And what about those who refuse? Hana pressed. What about the humans who will see us as monsters, as threats? They exist, Minho admitted. But that's true for any negotiation. Some people will always say no. The question is whether enough people say yes to make it work. Hana turned to Nari. And you, child. Why do you believe in this so strongly? Because Jiho died in my arms, Nari said, her voice thick with emotion. My research partner, my friend. He died in agony because we had no compatible food sources. I watched him suffer for months. I could not save him. I cannot bring him back. But I can prevent his death from being meaningless. I can save others. If you let me, Hana closed her eyes. Jiho, I remember him. Brilliant young researcher. I approved his assignment to your team. She opened her eyes. His death was my fault. I sent him to work on a project with no real hope of success. I let political concerns override scientific need. I have regretted that for 30 years. Then help me honor his memory, Nari said. Vote to proceed. Give this alliance a chance. Hana stood and walked to a cabinet. She pulled out a data crystal and held it up to the light. I have been doing research of my own. On human history. Human culture. You are a strange species. Violent and peaceful. Selfish and generous. Capable of terrible cruelty and incredible kindness. I cannot predict which version will emerge if we proceed. Neither can we, Minho said. But I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. Hana placed the crystal on a reader. A hologram appeared showing dozens of human colonies. Billions of people. This is what you are asking me to trust. An entire species we barely understand. The risk is enormous, and so is the reward, Nari said. Not just survival. A real alliance. Two species working together. Think of what we could accomplish. What we could become. Hana studied the hologram for a long time. Finally, she turned back to them. I will tell you a secret. I have already decided how to vote. I decided before you even landed. But I wanted to meet you first, to see if my choice was right. And? Minho asked. And I am still uncertain, Hana said with a sad smile. But uncertainty is better than hopelessness. Tomorrow I will vote to proceed. The council will approve a trial program, 50 human volunteers to come to Valar Prime. If successful, we expand. If it fails, we end it. Those are my terms. Relief flooded through Minho. That's more than we could have hoped for. Do not thank me yet, Hana warned. The hard part comes next. You must return to human space and convince 50 people to volunteer, to come here willingly, to trust us. Can you do that? Yes, Minho said without hesitation. I hope you are right, Hana said. Because if you fail, both our species lose. The council conservatives will use it as proof that alliance is impossible. They will seal us away forever, and my people will die in isolation. The next day, the council gathered again. Hana presented her decision. The debate was fierce but short. With Hana's support and Taeyeon's unexpected endorsement, the vote passed 7-5. The trial program was approved. Minho and his crew were released, given a proper ship instead of their stolen shuttle, provided with diplomatic credentials and communication equipment. Nari was pardoned of all charges and appointed as official liaison. Taeyeon volunteered to serve as security advisor for the program. I still do not trust this completely, Taeyeon told Minho as they prepared to depart. But I trust Nari, and I trust that you believe what you are saying. That is enough to start. It's more than I expected, Minho said. Thank you, Taeyeon nodded. Do not make me regret this decision. Convince your people. Return with volunteers. Prove that alliance is possible. The journey back to human space took a week. Minho sent messages ahead, contacting every salvage crew, every colony administrator, every news outlet he could reach. The response was mixed. Shock, excitement, fear, anger, but also curiosity. By the time they reached the nearest human station, there were already 300 applications from potential volunteers. People wanted to be part of history, wanted to help, wanted the promised technology, wanted adventure. Human nature in all its complexity. Minho and Nari worked together to screen applicants. They needed people who understood the risks, who could represent humanity well, who would not panic at the sight of Valari feeding. It took 2 weeks to select 50 volunteers. The return journey to Valar Prime felt different. The ship was full of voices, questions, nervousness, and hope. Minho watched Nari interact with the volunteers, answering their questions with patience and honesty. She was born for this, a bridge between worlds. When they arrived at Valar Prime, the entire council was waiting. The volunteers were taken to a specially prepared facility. Medical examinations first, then orientation, then the first controlled feedings, with volunteers who had specifically requested to go first. Minho volunteered to be part of the first group. Nari protested, but he insisted. I started this, he said. I should be part of it. The feeding took place in a comfortable room with medical staff monitoring everything. Nari was the one to feed from Minho, as they had done before on the station. But this time it was official, documented, witnessed, the start of something new. Afterwards, the medical staff confirmed what Nari's research had shown. Perfect compatibility, no harmful effects. The Valari who fed felt stronger. The human donors felt only mild fatigue, gone within hours. Over the next month, the program expanded. More volunteers arrived. The feeding protocols were refined. Nari's synthetic substitute research continued with new funding and support. Slowly, carefully, an alliance took shape. 3 months after the program began, Minho found himself standing in the same council chamber where he had almost been executed. This time he was there as an official ambassador. Elder Hana was announcing the expansion of the program to other Valari worlds. This is only the beginning, Hana said, her ancient voice carrying through the chamber. But it is a beginning. For the first time in generations, my people have hope. We are not saved yet, but we are not dying alone anymore. After the ceremony, Minho and Nari returned to what had become their shared quarters. The research station was gone, but they had built something new together. An embassy, a home, a future. Do you ever regret it? Nari asked as they stood at the window watching ships come and go. Coming to that station, Starting all this, Minho thought about it, about the fear and uncertainty, the near-death experiences, the impossible choices. Then he looked at Nari, at her silver hair and black eyes and the expression of peace on her face. He thought about the volunteers laughing with Velari researchers, about Taeon slowly learning to trust,